It's the Daily Dog.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Dog. Thanks for hanging out with me today on a Friday. Y'all, we made it to Friday. It is the end of another week, and that means we've got a very interesting piece for you today. It is not an extended piece, extended listen per se, like we're used to on Fridays, but I picked this one because we're getting a little closer to Halloween, and there are some interesting themes in this piece. There is mythology, there's some occult, there's some magic, there's some witches, and I am here for it. The band is called Therion, and the piece is called Via Nocturna. Now, as with a lot of these bands that I have been discovering and including on this channel over the past several months, I did not know about this band, Therion, but I have a few friends over on my Patreon that have been suggesting that I listen to their music, specifically Gerdajeff. Thank you to you, and also to a guy who takes his screen name over on my Patreon in honor of this band, Therion. So thanks to both of you. This band is a symphonic metal band from Sweden, and they do take a lot of their themes from what I read in about them from mythologies around the world, ancient writings, ancient traditions, including the occult and magic and witches and pagans and the whole nine. This song, Via Nocturna, is from their album Degial. It was released in the year 2000. And it looks like the band is joined by an octet of singers, a small little chamber choir, as well as a chamber orchestra that will be joining them. Fascinating stuff. One of the guitarists and keyboardists, Christopher Johnson, is the composer of the music, and a guy named Thomas Carlson is the lyricist. As I read in a little bit about him, he seems very interesting as well. He has a PhD in the history of religions and is a professor in Sweden. And like I said, the lyrics are quite intriguing. So it's going to be a fun ride. So buckle up, y'all. Via Nocturna itself, the words translates as the night route or the way in the night. And the piece itself looks like it's in two parts. The first part is called The Path, and the second part is called Hextons. And as I recall, that means the witches dance. So get ready to put on your dancing shoes, y'all. We're going to join all of these fun people and see what this song is about. This is Via Nocturna by the band Therion. I am using their studio recording. Let's get it. Here we go. Somber organ. Resolves to a major chord. Another major chord. Another major chord. Started quite minor and nebulous. Organ out and the orchestral instruments in, sounding like doing some of the same music. Just applied to the instruments instead of the organ. Major for a second. Wow. There's a dominant 7. G minor. all of a sudden it sounds like Carmina Burana. That's in G. Down a step to F. Kind of has that Iron Maiden-like gallop to it. Via Nocturna. Cool. Lower guitar, higher guitar, right? Really interesting. F went down to C, pretty sure. And this is going back and forth between major and minor. Right? Okay. Wow, that's different. Okay. I think this next section that's starting is the Hextons, the Witch's Dance. Let me say this, or ask this: do they have a lead singer? In all of these different episodes that I've done, I have not yet come across a symphonic metal band that uses a choir like this to be basically the lead singer of the band in this particular composition. It's in English, y'all. They're from Sweden, but they're singing in English. The problem is, and I'm looking at the lyrics, I'm having a somewhat difficult time following the lyrics. And I speak English, I read in English, and they're singing in English, but I'm having a difficult time really following what they're doing vocally. And it's just, I think, because it's quite difficult to handle the sound of a choir, the sound of orchestral instruments, and the sound of a symphonic amplified metal band, and make everything sound like really, really good and well put together. They're a bit overshadowed by the mids, I think, in the mix. So I could hear their sustained pitches, but it's a little more difficult to hear the starts of their words, so I can see kind of what the consonants are and what the language actually is. But overall, wow, what a interesting sound. We need to continue with this Witch's Dance. Here we go, y'all. That's a flugelhorn. Huh. It's a very specific sound. Cool. Low double reed. They're talking about Hextons, Mephisto, Nocturna, Luna. These are mythological figures. There's that flugelhorn again. Totally cool. sounds like 4/1. If that's 1, then that's minor 3. Like major 6. Wow. Yeah, you can't hear him like you'd like to. I think the guitar, the rhythm of the guitar in the background is too loud in the mix. Soprano, way up there. Still just G and the F. One of the more unique pieces that I've heard in a long time. Little harpsichord in there? Might as well. Down to 5, 1, 4, 7, 3. Ha ha ha! Okay, descending 5th progression around the entire circle. Cool. Tonic chord turns diminished. In the deepest forest, in the deepest dark, you will find a fire and a secret path. Harmonize with the diminished 1 chord. Cool. The guys are repeating that text. There's that sequence again. 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3. Beautiful line. 6, 2, 5. The whole diatonic circle of fifths. Same thing, just up a half step. Direct motion. They did the entire circle of 5th progression and then just went a half step higher for this last little section. So they're dancing. And they're doing a circle progression so that the circle progression as a descending set of fifths just never stops. I'll be darned. That's how it ends. Y'all, wow, I'm not going to say strange, odd. That was an odd piece. And, I've been listening to some Zappa lately. I mean, that was quite unique. You've got this symphonic metal band from Sweden with an octet of singers singing in English, like a chamber choir, and then these other instruments, and they've got some interesting color instruments in that orchestra. It's not a big orchestra, it's a relatively small orchestra, but they had a flugelhorn in there, they had a regular French horn, they had some double reeds, some nice color instruments to help out with everything. This is one of these things where I find myself not having words to figure out what to say about it, because I've never heard anything like this before. It's really fascinating. Only in the 21st century could we have a symphonic metal band doing like a choral cantata with with the chamber orchestra. Do they, like I said before, do they have a singer? Do they have a lead singer, or do they just have this choir singing on the entire album? This particular album, I would be curious to know about that. In this second section, the Hextons section, they are talking about mythological characters. I will be honest, I don't know a ton about these folks. I just know their names and a little bit about them. They mention Lilith, the Queen of the Night. They mention Pan. They mention Mephisto. There's some interesting characters. They also say that the celebrants of the Hextons, the witches' dance, they gather at Brocken on hills and the seas, dancing to the flute of Pan until dawn. So Brocken is a mountain peak in the Harz Mountains of Germany. And this struck a memory for me because there is a classical piece that deals with some of this same theme. And it's by Mendelssohn, Felix Mendelssohn. And the piece is Die Erste Walpurgisnacht. And Walpurgisnacht is this festival at the end of April, beginning of May, where witches would gather and celebrate the coming of spring, and they would do it up on this high mountain, this Brocken mountain in the Harz mountain range, at this Hexentanzplatz. And so they're talking about the same area that Mendelssohn's story, all this mythology is based on. It's really interesting, quite interesting. I think I need to read into some more of it and listen to a little bit more of the album. But wow, Greta Jeff and Therion, thank you guys for suggesting this one. That was a very interesting, intriguing listen. I hope that you guys like that. If you did, let me know. If you have suggestions for future extended plays on Friday or whatever, just let me know in the comments. I will try to get to them as much as I can. But it's been a fun week here. We've got more coming up next week. That's all for us today, though, and we will see you next time on another edition of the Daily Doug.